Oh, baby.
Here we go.
30 minutes for tip-off. Man, I love it.
Right on time.
Right on time.
Right on
Getting
time.
started. What is up, everybody? Welcome to the pregame show.
Let's go.
Presented as always by DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook app. Use promo code DNVR. Download it now. So later in the show, this guy's going to give us the latest, the very latest, up-to-the-date betting odds for the game. You know how they always change a little bit? You'll give us those right at the end there.
The right now. Are we live right now?
We're live right now,
Yeah.
baby. Game starts in 30 minutes.
Yeah,
Chat. I see the
from
chat's
the
popping.
bar.
Oh, I
Ray's
see you
in
right
the
there.
chat.
B. Over here, I got Brendan Vogt.
Fellas, I get so juiced for these takeover nights.
Is it because you get to get drunk on the
That's
clock?
it, actually. Yeah, I drink juice drop hazy IPAs. That's what I meant.
Yeah, that sounds like a really good time. Over here, look at you guys, color coordinating.
It
man.
happens a lot
It
these
does
days,
happen a
yeah.
lot. You guys are like the same person. Over here, it's Harrison Wind.
My biggest question, what's in the cup?
Coffee, straight
Sure,
coffee. Yeah,
sure.
just hey.
Sure.
It's
I
too
believe
early.
it. Vogt just woke up. So I definitely
that actually
believe it.
is
Yeah.
So
Unbelievable.
close to being
Yeah.
true.
And then over here, superstar Dev.
Vote looks good today.
Hey,
We'll
thanks,
be
Dev.
honest
So do
with
you, man.
You look good
So do
today.
you.
I'm ready for the takeover. I do. I also enjoy these games, and also enjoy getting down to the arena and then seeing everyone that recognizes us at the game.
You think anybody will recognize us at the game tonight?
When we had on the mask, we were getting recognized. We're like, hey, you guys should listen to it. And they're like, what's up, Dev? I think that's super. I think that's cool. So
Oh,
I'm
that's
excited
right.
to
Last
see.
time we were there, we were
Yeah.
in masks,
Oh,
isn't
man.
it? Wow, what
How
a
far we've
blast
come.
from the past. I remember that, the pandemic. Sucked.
What a treat. Oh,
That
yeah. Wait,
sucked.
no.
That was
terrible.
horrible.
Yeah.
Guys, we have a great show today. We are going to go over Spurs Nuggets, the first of 2 games in a row, a little home and away. We're also going to do the list, a little film study. I didn't get to do one just because
love
it's a
it.
Friday, Saturday, were the days in between the last game. But I got a couple plays that I think you're going to find very interesting, including one Jokic pass. I did not see it on the timeline. I did not hear anybody talk about it. I myself did not bring it up in the last post-game show. I don't know how we missed it.
It's a beaut.
I don't know how we missed it.
Stay tuned.
Classic Jokic one will be doing that. I also want to just talk about the Spurs in general. Is there a lesson? I always say that the Nuggets need to be the new Spurs. Is there a lesson that we can learn from the arc of the Spurs over the last 20 years, including the present?
Last 48 hours of events included?
Ooh,
or no?
I think we probably maybe should also
hang on a
well,
second. Yeah.
maybe just a little bit.
Okay.
And then, of course, later on in the show, a little bit of bets. But first, Harrison, give us the game notes tonight. You were at shoot-around.
I was at shoot-around. On the injury front, Bones Highland questionable status still up in the air. I
Damn.
saw him at shoot-around today.
Yeah.
I saw him sprint off the court like he was 100% healthy. So he looked good to me. He was joking around, laughing. He looks good.
So you think he plays tonight?
I think he plays tonight.
He big, man. The Nuggets have really coalesced, I think, over these
Right.
last few games. I really do feel like there's a good positive momentum. I'm feeling confident about the team. We last game are talking all down, third quarter. They won by 12.
Yeah.
They basically blew out the Thunder twice in one game.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? They really did. And so I'm feeling good about it. The last piece is this Bones piece. Get him back in there. He takes it to a
Yeah.
whole other level. And I hope tonight. Look, Bones on a Saturday night at Ball Arena. Say no more. I already think he's having a good game. Bones after missing a week and then comes back at home.
Oh, he's shooting 20 times tonight.
I think he can have a very nice night. So hope he's in.
Yeah. Ish Smith also questionable. I also saw him at shoot-around. He looked like he was doing good as well. I don't think any of those injuries are any cause for concern. The Spurs. Zeke is out. Zeke is out.
Do we have any indication? What was he
I
like?
did
you
see him at shoot-around as well. He was walking with a limp.
He was walking with a limp.
Definitely a noticeable limp.
But he
That-
went
that's-
through shoot around.
I doubt it.
Oh, so he was just there.
Yeah,
He was just
we
there.
didn't talk to Malone or anything.
It's an
so-
ankle sprain, right? Is the official?
Yes.
Okay.
I saw him limping on his right ankle.
Ankle sprains are all. There's 3 varieties. Grant Hill out for a year.
Oof.
You're hurt for 1 game. You rolled it and it's either back the next game or whatever. And then there's 2 weeks. Sounds
Yeah.
like he might be the 2 weeks.
I'd say it's a 2-weeker.
yeah, 2 weeks.
So the
Give or take
Spurs,
some, guys.
the Spurs come into tonight. They're 5-4. They're on a back-to-back. They lost to the Clippers last night. They're 5-4 with the 27th ranked net rating.
Squeaked out some wins, huh?
I don't know how they've been winning these games.
Well, they haven't beat any good teams. They've beat Indiana. They beat Minnesota twice. They beat Chicago.
and they've probably gotten blown out.
and
a
they
couple
beat Philly.
times.
And then they got blown out by Charlotte.
Real blowouts too.
Yeah.
I think that there was a 43-point loss in there.
143 to 100.
Yeah.
Man, you know what's funny? 143 to 100 does not. I know this is weird because it's literal round numbers. It doesn't feel like a 43-point. When you just said 43, I was like, holy crap. It is. But they
That's
scored 100,
crazy.
so it doesn't feel it. Usually when you lose by 40 points, you have 80.
Yeah.
It's like 123
the new NBA
Doesn't
blowout, man.
123
Yeah.
to 80 sound somehow way worse than
Yes,
143 to
absolutely.
100?
Right.
Yeah. Although there is part of you that's like 140,
143, yeah.
in regulation.
Yeah. So the Spurs, I don't
Numbers
think they're
corner.
very good.
They have beat, though, the Karl Anthony Towns Gobert team twice
Well, I
and,
don't know if
and
they're
the
very
Joel
good
Embiid
either.
team once. But I'm just saying,
Yeah.
sometimes a team matches up well against the big. I
Right.
don't know. We'll find out.
Yeah. They have guys that can hurt you. Devin Vassell's playing well. Jakob Poeltl's played well against Jokic 4 years ago.
Man, you're slandering. You're
Winged.
slandering him. He's actually a good defender.
He
He's not
is.
going to shut down Jokic, but he's also just not like he's tougher than Zubac.
Yeah.
In my opinion, defensively.
Yeah.
No
Um,
offensive game, that guy though, man.
I think, well, we'll get to this in the line. The line was like double digits when it opened for the Nuggets. So everybody expecting Denver to have an easy night tonight.
We'll see if that line moved right before tip off. We'll check that at the
I
very
think
end.
it might.
I mean,
might
this-
have
we're
listened.
running out
Yeah.
of time. It's
We
probably,
are running out
yeah,
of
it's
time,
probably-
man. So yeah, they have lost 2 in a row, and I think that's noteworthy. They lost to Toronto.
Also,
and the
they have
Clippers.
some internal issues going on that
Actually-
might be a little bit of a distraction right now.
Do you think so? I have to imagine yes.
I mean, maybe for Greg Popovich more so than the players.
Yeah, I wonder about that.
I
too.
think if there's one team that like knows how to separate like outside sources and everything else, it's them, because they don't want to bring it up. They're not going to talk about it. Like when Pop gets into the practice facility or around them, they're probably just all business. So I don't think that it could be just too big of a distraction. And it's also like not like they're like franchise player, like they're he was a young guy that's around the team. So I think that they'll be good at separating.
We'll find out, man. The thing is I don't think they're a good team. The Spurs, I would. This would be interesting to look up. I feel like when the Spurs always are good out the gate, and I just think it's because they're such a disciplined team, such a details team that they're probably a little bit more in midseason form than most teams. But this is not a good team.
No.
And I think that probably
It's not a good roster.
You know how it is. Like some teams, you have to wait and see. Like, okay, they had a hot first week. Teams have scouted them a little bit. All right, here's what they do. They do that thing. We'll prepare for it, and they start to fall off. Utah still rolling. Some of these teams still rolling. I think the Spurs, I hope, knock on wood. And then also, it's a second night of a back-to-back. They did play in San Antonio. Now they come to Denver. The last thing I'll say about this game is this is a good test for Denver. One, it's a home game. And, Michael Malone has said the emphasis is winning the home games, protecting the home court. But also, Denver, I think, can get up big in this game. And this is an example of a team that, on the road, second night of a back-to-back, can you break their spirit? If you get up 13 points, 4 minutes to go in the second quarter, do you finish up 13? Do you finish up 10? Do you finish up 9? Or do you finish up 20? Do you hey, this is the chance. Everybody, timeout. Hey, right here.
Right.
Don't let them, let's go into half up 20 so that they're kind of let's not do it. Let's not do it tonight.
And I think maybe separate yourself a bit from the hiccups to start the season.
Yeah.
Like they're close to us saying they're rolling. They're not there quite yet.
Right. Yeah.
So you can take this as an opportunity to come out, play hard, and just try to fire off on all cylinders and blow this team out of the water. And I think then you're that much closer to feeling like, all right, this thing's coming together. It's at home. You've had a lot of rest this week. There's no excuse to come out flat in the first quarter tonight. It should be viewed as an opportunity to get something going here.
Yeah.
There you go.
This could be a game where the Nuggets go up 20 in the first half. Greg Popovich gets ejected and
Right.
goes and has his dinner reservation at Garden Grace.
He looks for Becky to come in. He's like, crap, I can't.
Yeah.
Who else? Who's next?
All right, we'll move on here to segment 2. Let's get to a little film study. You guys want to get into the film here? Did not do a list yesterday. Well, I actually did, but I didn't publish it. We'll do it today instead. We'll do it live.
Nice.
So, first things first. The Nuggets, one of the things I love to do is look through the playbook and just try to okay, what are Denver's tendencies? What are the base plays they run? What are some of the one-offs or not really one-offs because I miss a lot of the one-offs, but the plays that are maybe not super common, but they go to every 5-6 games. It's hey, they go to this thing. This year, there's a handful of plays that are pretty new to the playbook that I'm kind of excited about. This is one of them. And the reason I wanted to highlight this one specifically, it's actually twofold. One, a lot of people are like, oh, they don't run actions for Michael Porter or this or that. They actually run a lot. And here's a new one that entered the playbook that came from last game. Go ahead and play that one, Kale. We'll walk through it here. You're going to see it starts in a horns formation. You get a little twist action, meaning a screen on each side, and then an exit action, which is MPJ coming off of a screen. And Wyatt's, and then he can see he totally fails it here. That's not a very good use of it. Play it one more time here, Kale. I just want everybody to kind of walk through the details here. And you can hit pause for me right here. Well, actually, let him step up to the screen and then pause it. So the reason that this play is interesting is you're forcing his guy. Michael Porter, by the way, I think can really improve as a screener.
Yeah.
A lot of the actions Denver has is when they have a shooter, they try to use him screening first to get his guy occupied, and then you exit, then you go off and to do something. Michael Porter oftentimes in these actions, and sometimes it's about making hard contact, sometimes it's about reading the timing. He usually goes, in my opinion, a little early and also doesn't make great contact. It's almost like he's avoiding the screen, and this is an example of that where you could see the idea is that you want to draw Kenny Hustle, I think is the guy guarding him. You want to draw him out on ball so that he has to chase him the rest of the way.
Not Kenny Pope. Kenny Hustle.
Not Kenny Pope, Kenny Hustle. All right, go ahead. So you're going to see the screen, doesn't really make any contact, and then exits. Freeze. He gets into the shooting motion. You could rewind it just a hair. And I think these are the types of plays I'm talking about. He's 6'10 with a 40-inch vertical. Did Steph Curry shoot this one with this much spacing?
Yes.
Michael Porter shoots this one all the time too.
Right.
To me, when we talk about like the mind frame, because I think that he's doing a very good job of not necessarily forcing things, and I think that's a big part of this. Like he's trying not to be. This is one where it's like they're calling the play where I should force it a little bit more. This is part of becoming a veteran. It's just knowing it's not about good shots and bad shots in a vacuum. It's hey, they're calling my number. Let me see if I can get this off. And
take that one.
And if you can't, because first of all, you shoot this one and make it enough, and not even that much. He's already there. Teams are going to start overloading. They're going to start doing dumb stuff because they're so afraid of you being open at all times. If Steph Curry was that open, like the stunt man's going to stunt all the way over. Like teams start to do things where they're panicking. Go ahead and play it here. Then stop. All right, freeze it here. He's got him beat. Like Kenny Hustle's behind him. There's a middle point there. I don't know where Michael Porter's going with this attack here.
He
He's
doesn't
kind of
either.
weird. He doesn't either. This is one of those ones where, again, I just think he needs to be a little bit more comfortable. Attack space, and the big's either going to step on you. Jokic will get an offensive rebound or a drop-off, or he's going to stick with Jokic and you're going to dunk it on his head. Instead, he kind of goes at Jokic. Go ahead and play it. Shoots a tough floater, and it's just like Michael Porter's such a great shooter. That's one of the shots I don't really see him make, so don't go to it.
Yeah, do you think that that's a play that has like different wrinkles that look like a curl with starting Jokic so low, with MPJ being a guy that really doesn't dribble? Like that's what separates him from like Curry, is he'll be able to just come right off of it, and maybe that's the shot. Putting him in the corner like that, it's a guy chasing him. MPJ's not shooting it. Like it just doesn't. That is a Curry type of play.
But I think that this is the thing is this is Mike's best use is like, hey, beat quick trigger, get your feet set and go. And the thing that's interesting to me is this play I have not seen. I might have missed it, guys. I don't see it. I try to track the plays when I go back and read, but I miss things. Bojan Bogdanovic to me is the guy in the NBA who's most like Michael Porter, at least right now, in my opinion. He's tall. He's a super shooter. I think he's shooting 50% also on volume this year. He's not like a primary scorer, and he doesn't have a whole lot in his game. Like he's not a huge creator, but he is a great shooter. This play actually comes from the Utah Jazz last year as a Bojan Bogdanovic special. So kudos to Michael Malone here stealing a play out of a division rival. Go ahead and show a couple examples here. We got a couple for Bojan and a couple for Bogdanovic here. You can see the exit out the other side. They don't run the twist action every time. They run it off of a few entries, but you can see the action here. Get the screen. This is Jordan Clarkson going, and then get the exit action over here. Be ready to go. Jordan Clarkson, obviously much more, again, attacking space. Where's he attacking? The middle of the court. You're asking that big guy to step up on you and to read it. Exit again, get a little space, get that shot off. To me, I love this one. It's a great, every coach steals plays that they like, and I just think this is like the perfect play to steal for Michael Porter Jr. specifically.
I also think it's a good example of some of where the areas improvement are for him off ball. The difference in some of those clips for me are the discipline, like in the footwork and the angles at which they take those screens. And we've seen Porter, he'll take crazy shots and adjust in the air. But I think part of the reason why he was dissuaded from that shot was because his feet were all over the place. Yeah. And I actually think it's a tiny thing. Like he's talked about wanting to learn from Steph, how the angle and the pace at which you come off that screen and how disciplined you are with your footwork. That matters a lot. And I think sometimes because he's so able to rise above and make all these great shots, I would actually say a little lazy with the footwork at times. And I think that's a good, if they're going to call those plays for you, you got to maximize yourself in those actions. And I think that's one area where he could really turn a corner, because I don't think he's ever going to be putting the ball on the floor the way Jordan Clarkson was in that.
Maybe. But I do think, but your point remains that I do think his off-ball footwork is the number one thing I would try to perfect if I was him. What's our next one, Kel? Okay, here's a good example of when you have actually just play the footage here because I narrate through it.
It's crazy the number of plays you can open up for yourself whenever you get KCP in one corner, Michael Porter in the other. This is just a basic action Denver always runs. I mean, they put this in multiple different entries where Jamal's back screening and then comes around for the handoff. And the pressure it is you don't want to help from here, you don't want to help from here, and you don't want to switch this one. So just back screen. You don't want to switch because then you'd have Poku on Jamal. And so in not trying to switch, you get the easy lob. Let's try it again. Just simple. And you can see if it doesn't work, Jamal going to run off from a handoff. You see he's ready to. Jamal here, if he doesn't, he's going to run for the handoff. I don't know. Too easy.
Just a good example of one of these simple actions. Denver's run these ones for years. Every team in the NBA runs these actions. When you have two dead-eye knockdown shooters, two guys shooting 50% from three, and you place them each in the corner, and then when you have guys who are dynamic, not because you can switch like your guy. If Aaron Gordon's Clint Capella, just switch it. They're going to post up Clint Capella. You'll double, whatever. Aaron Gordon's dynamic. He could dribble. He could rebound. He could do whatever. Jamal Murray, you get Poku on him. I'm sorry, Poku. You're going to get abused out on the perimeter. So teams don't want to switch that. It's just I'm very encouraged by Denver's offense, not because it's performed at a high level, but because they have a bunch of things in the bag already that are like, that'll work almost every time.
Yeah.
You don't have to be special.
Yeah, what I love about this is like you got adage. So you have the shooters that are like just giving so much space and gravity, but also you have so much activity down the middle with two guys that you got to keep your eyes on in Murray. So having Murray be the guy that sets up the action, now you're taking away, especially with him and Jokic. You already know you have to talk through that. Also, with Jokic being the guy that's doing a lot of the movement, you have to talk on defense, or you have to like try to like make things happen where you don't even see Aaron Gordon coming off the backside. So adding those type of things to your offense, like just having those extra players or new players, just makes it a lot easier. So that was super creative.
Super creative, but also just so simple, man. What do we have next one? Oh, I love this one. Play that footage.
Love this pass by Bruce. You're going to see Yoke cut to the middle, back in. And he throws it over the top. Just perfectly in sync. There's no communication here. Just watch. The two of them kind of know. Set it up, throw it over the top, and one. Great reads between those two. Really good sign of chemistry between Bruce and Jokic.
I love it. Bruce Brown. The chemistry with Bruce Brown and Jokic still has a ways to go, but it's already like plays like that. I'm telling you, not everybody makes those reads where it's like, I know. It's like a QB. You're throwing back shoulder, right? Like he's just like, yeah, okay, he's clearing. I'm going to go over the top here, and there's nothing anybody can do. That was an and one, and it was only an – those are the worst. You know these and ones, Dev. When you foul, when you get cooked so bad that you're like, well, I'm just going to foul, but then you find out as soon as you foul, actually I'm cooked so bad that the foul's not going to do anything. That's what Jokic lays that one in. He might as well – he lays it in casually and takes the foul like, oh, man, you just gave me an extra point. That's how good of the play that was, the chemistry there. And then this one, the Fils de Resistance, my favorite play from the last one. Just keep a look on my boy Yoke.
This is the most underrated Jokic pass of the season. Watch this one. Keep an eye on him. You almost blink, you miss it. All right, so you get the pick and roll with Aaron Gordon and Jokic, which has been so deadly. You get basically an empty corner. You have a player up top here, but this is Jalen, the defender, not in position to help. And then you just get the screen here on the backside. But what makes it work is Jokic jumps like he's going to throw the jump pass to Aaron Gordon. Sucks this defender in just for a second longer. Christian Brown recognizes that he's usually going to try to screen here, but instead he sees he's actually going to have to screen Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, and you actually get this like little almost hammer-like action. Watch Christian Brown. Who do I screen? Oh, this guy. And then watch Jokic. Let's go in slow motion so you can keep an eye on him. Never looks to the corner. Opens up the pass with his eyes, or with his no look. Beautiful.
The best part about that one is he jumps. Bruce Brown's like in the paint. He's like so far ahead of the play. He's like, I'm going to jump, and then I'm going to throw it to the spot. He's not even there. He's going to run into it and catch it. It's just Yoke's on another level, man.
Putting the jump in there to sell the pass is just so
This is how confident he is.
Yeah.
He's like, I know exactly how this will play out.
And Bruce makes it. Like last year, they bricked that shot 100 out of 100 times. But they're finishing the highlights right now.
Also, the other thing is Bruce also – a lot of times a player in that spot, the guy jumps and he's like, oh, he's not going to me, and he'll stop. Bruce knows. He's like, he's just faking.
Bruce Brown's a very smart basketball
He's
player.
like, I got to run this one through because he's just faking it. There it is.
The great thing also about that is they run that action so many times that you could throw it to Aaron Gordon, and that's what they're used to.
Right.
So you still have him over the top if he's there with a really capable passer, but also like you could use it as a dummy set the way that they did, where everything is like going on over here, and then you look the other way, and Christian Brown is smart enough to move in to create that, because the guy could have just jumped that spot, but he was smart enough to just move it just by a little bit, where now you're open by yourself, or you could set the screen for two guys.
Yeah. Real quickly, just down to move to the last segment here, talking about the Spurs. This is the thing that made me want to talk about it. You know, Greg Popovich, one of the best coaches of all time, and I think he's a great coach. He is an innovator. He's helped make the game what it is now. When we talk about small ball, we talk about pace and space. He really was one of the creators of that, one of the first guys to be doing it, and everybody copies from him. Also, just a great culture setter and all these different things. Tim Duncan retired, and the Spurs have sucked since. And there's something to be learned here. Does it mean he's not a great coach? Absolutely not. Popovich is a great coach. But there's something, too. We have to always remember that 90% of the job is, do you have a Tim Duncan? Denver does. They have a Nikola Jokic. But, like, it's just one of those things where I'm not trying to rip on Greg Popovich. I'm just saying he's a great coach. They haven't even been good since.
Well, I just feel like ever since they traded Kawhi Leonard, they've just had nobody.
Well, it's another one, too, right? They did that on principle. They were not going to give him to the Lakers. They're like, no, we'll just take a worse package. And I respect the hell out of it. But at the same time, man, it's so hard to find a good player.
Yeah.
A top 5, top 10
Their
guy.
best player since Kawhi Leonard has been DeMar DeRozan.
Am I being too unfair about this, in your opinion, Dev? They've sucked.
Yeah, I don't think unfair. I think that really, like...
they almost beat the Nuggets in that one.
I think it's the idea that they haven't wanted to win. You know, like, if they tried, I think it could go hand in hand, because I don't know what the conversations is, but it always feels like Popovich is supposed to retire. Like, the last 5 years, he's supposed to retire because they have nothing to play for. And this is another year where it seems like they have nothing to play for. And then you look at the record, and it's like, are they like punting on the season, or are they just not good? But also, like you said, it's super important to see, like, they had really good players. They had things to play for, and it made him look good. They got better based off of having a good coach. And all in all, Denver is lucky to have Jokic right now.
Yeah. I will say, ever since that Kawhi Leonard trade happened, you look at almost every team in the league and you know what they're doing. Like the Houston Rockets were tanking. Like the Orlando Magic have been tanking. Other teams have been trying to make the playoffs. The Spurs have just been running in circles, I feel like, ever since that playoff series against the Nuggets ended. Like, what have they been doing,
Yeah. I mean, it's true. You do get stuck in purgatory in the NBA when you don't have a superstar. They are kind of there, but
they never bottomed out.
I'm just saying, like, we'd love to talk about the minutia of the NBA, and those things matter so much. There's plenty of superstars that didn't pan out, and a lot you could say, well, they didn't have the right coach, they didn't have the right this, that, but the opposite is also true in that, like, when you have a Tim Duncan, you're 90% of the way there,
right?
And then don't screw it up. We have a Jokic, we're 90% of the way there. Like, don't take it for granted. They don't come. Jokic's don't grow on trees.
Yeah. Also, the guy who built those teams isn't the GM anymore, which is another reason why they're probably not putting together as much talent as they used to.
Man, I got 3 opt-ins right now on the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Dev, it's that time, man. Make us some money.
It is.
Oh, wow, these lines have updated. Right before tip-off, man. They've really updated.
Have they?
I mean, it's right before tip-off.
Have they? All right, so just looking at this game, second night of a back-to-back, minus 11. It's just a lot. Like, it's a lot, but also, like, Denver should win this game. I like it just because we have the takeover. We want to see a win. We want to be in person. We want to high five.
The takeover bump.
I'm surprised you went that direction.
It truly matters, and they're gonna they have to blow them out. I just feel like they have to. I'm expecting the second unit to play well. I'm expecting Bones to come back to give them that bump as well.
Well, I mean, we already know about his status.
I like that. I like the minus 11 in this game. Which brings us to the second one. The over-under in this game is 235. Like, that's a bunch. That's a lot of points. They think there's going to be no defense in the game, and
Well, watching the Nuggets for this season, I would agree.
I think it's going to be different. I like the under in that.
Okay.
Hey, you're thinking about the road Nuggets. You're not thinking about the home Nuggets.
Home. Yeah, you're not on Pride Night and the takeover. Like it's going to be an under game, under 235 for me. I just got to go with it.
You convinced me. I'm going for it.
Pride Night and the takeover. I mean,
At the same time.
how could they lose?
At the same time, it couldn't happen. I've already seen this before. Jamal Murray, I love that he's getting his legs under him. He's back in his flow. But I just can't expect him to just continue to score a bunch of points every single time. They have him at like 17 and a half.
18 and a half.
So
It
they
just
gave
went
him-
up.
It just went up. So 18 and a half. I have to expect he gets under 19 in a game that they
Man.
expect to be a blowout. I'm going to take the under on that.
You like that?
Oh, I was reading the chat.
The
I'm gonna
Spurs
take
are
the
the
under.
28th ranked defense this year. They're awful
Man,
defensively.
I don't want to bet against Murray, man. He might be back.
He really might be back. I'm
Tonight's
going
the
under.
night we might find out that he's back. We'll
Back
see.
to back flurries.
Oh, man.
That's a
back-to-back
lot to
plays.
ask for. It's
It
good
is a lot
weather
to ask
outside.
for. It is a
It
lot.
is,
Good
yeah,
weather.
you're right.
Kelvin Johnson is good.
He is good.
He always
good.
kills the Nuggets.
And I was about to say he's a bit of a nugget killer. Like he's good. I'm gonna take his over points, rebounds, and assists at 30 and a half. He's gonna score the basketball, so like 20. I think he's gonna you could just pencil him in for 20.
Aight.
MPJ over 2.5 threes is still free money. You might as well just add it in there.
Why do they keep giving it to us?
I have no idea, and it's even lower now. Like the juice isn't as high as it was.
He's at
So
home. Like, man.
just
that's
continue
is
to
this
put
a
it.
lock?
You just continue to put it in the. Yeah, you might as well make it a lock. But
Okay.
you could put it in the same game parlay, like cause the 2+. Like he's gonna hit 2 threes. He gets it in like the first quarter.
He usually does hit 2 threes immediately.
AG is coming off of a hot game, and he has the same mismatches in this game that he did in the last one. I'm going to take his over of points at 14 and a half. Him and Yoke just seem to be on the same page, so I really do enjoy that.
I kind of like that bet.
And then for my lock, it sucks to say, but I just feel like Jokic is not trying to score. So I'm just going to
You
I'm
think?
going to go under his 24 and a half points, but I'm going to
Oh, Dev.
listen.
Pretty low,
The
Dev.
reason
That's
24
pretty
and a half.
low.
That's a lot. That's a lot for him. He's not trying to score. And the
Jokic's
reason
going for
is
40
I think
tonight.
that the assist is going to be up. He's just going to continue to pass the ball. They have it too low at 7.5 is what they have it at.
8, yeah, it's 8.5.
He's going to get his assist. So I'm
we
just
just
going to
bet for a triple-double
I think you
then?
could just put it together. Yeah, well, let's just throw in a triple double.
do a
Let's,
triple-double that.
let's lock it in. The lock is triple dub.
That is a
That's
lock.
a lock?
That's a lock.
That's
Wait,
a lock.
We're calling
Triple-dub.
Okay, what are our odds here? I'm trying to find it. Does
It's
anybody
probably
see
like
it?
plus 100.
Triple-double. Nikola Jokic plus 175.
Okay.
A lock?
It's a lock. He continues to do it, and he
it a
gets his
lock?
rebounds. He gets
Of
his
course, it's
assists.
not a lock.
It's a lock. Is he getting 10 rebounds?
Yes.
Does he score? Like, is he
10
trying
points.
to
He's
score
going to
right
get
now?
10 points. He's
Yes,
not going to
he-
have 8
yes,
points.
he
That's
will
what
get
I'm
10
saying. It just sets up for a lock every time.
Dude, I just saw this. You can bet on the exact score of the game.
Yes.
Have you seen
The
this?
odds are insane, too.
Yeah, I mean, come on. That's like... Wait, what are you
I
doing?
might throw a little sprinkle,
just
little sprinkle on a couple of those.
This is a team that
You
is
put
lost by
a you put
43.
$1, you win $171.
Yeah, that's the bet you hit one time and then lose for the rest,
The rest of your life.
Hey,
yeah.
I'd still be up.
All right, let's get a quick single game parlay. You know me. My favorite parlays are the threes parlays.
I'm betting on the final score.
Jamal Murray, 2+ threes. Feels absolutely good to me. Aaron Gordon, 1+ threes. He's been hitting them.
Oh, man, that is such a dangerous bet.
You know what? Are we going? What do you think?
If Aaron Gordon doesn't hit that in the first quarter, he's not hitting it.
It's true.
Can we just do? Should we just do a Porter Murray? Actually, no. All right, let's do an easy bet so we can get our big bonuses. Murray 1-3, KCP 1-3, Porter 1-3, Aaron Gordon 1-3. Odds aren't even that good, plus 135, but we do get our giant bonus just because they give us the bonus every time we make a profit boost. Boom, there we go. So I'm up to 168. I like it. I'm just rooting for 4 threes.
That Aaron
Every
Gordon
starter
trade.
besides Jokic.
Oh,
Look,
it's going to be a big
here's what-
first 5 minutes for you tonight.
Oh,
buddy.
here's what's great about it is I'm betting on Jokic triple-double and everybody but Jokic hitting a 3. I'm rooting for the same
They
thing.
do.
That's
They do
great.
come hand in hand.
They come hand in hand. They're all
Yeah.
together. All right, that does it for us. You guys were a great chat today, man. I see all that's some good
Unbelievable.
stuff.
And you
man.
know what? I'm
Tip off
taking
in 1 minute.
I'm
Tip off in
taking
1
the
minute.
over on how many of those takeoverers come back to this bar to party with us all night, Saturday night.
Hell yeah.
Let's go.
Even if you weren't at the game, come back to the
Yeah.
DNVR bar afterwards. We're going to get drunk together. We'll see everybody later.